Hi, welcome back to Echoes from the Quiet Corner. I am Shreya, and today let's picture a dark room, faces lit by little blue rectangles. The scroll goes on, news, jokes, outrage, wonder, shadows on a wall that never ends. Long ago, a philosopher, Plato, told a story about prisoners in a cave who mistook flickering shadows for reality. Today, our cave hums with Wi-Fi. The shadows are algorithmic, recommended, optimized, personalized, and yet the old question returns. What are we really seeing and what are we missing? This episode is a slow walk from the glow of our screens toward the light, using three old signposts: the cave, imitation, and persuasion. Along the way, we'll test them against deepfakes, chatbots, and generative art. And we'll end with something practical. How can we keep our minds free when the wall is brighter every day inside the cave? Take a breath. Let's begin. In the cave story of Plato's, people in the cave watch moving shapes and think that's the world. In our time, feeds do the same. They choose what we see and then teach us to want more of it. A loop forms. Our attention trains the feed trains our attention. So the room is full, but our world is too small. The lesson is not to smash the screens, the lesson is to turn our heads, ask who lit this fire, who chose these shapes, and what sits outside this frame. Curiosity is the first step out. Now, let's take a look at another idea from Plato, the ladder of copies. At the top, the thing itself, say the real bed, the real kindness, the real courage. Below it is a working copy, maybe a carpenter's bed, a hard choice made in real life. Further down comes the picture of the bed or the poem about courage. Beautiful, moving, but still a step away. The warning isn't that art is bad. The warning is to not confuse the picture with the original thing that it represents. A portrait of a meal would never feed you. A post about justice won't make a system fair. Images can point to truth or pull us from it, depending on how we use them. Hold the image lightly, seek the source. So there is also this tale of the star performer who can recite great lines with thunder and tears, but cannot explain them. He's swept by the song he sings. That's a modern risk. We now have systems that speak in flawless paragraphs, summon poetry on command, and argue both sides of a case. They sound wise, but sounding wise is not the same thing as being wise. Fluency is not understanding. The test is simple. Can it reason about cause and effect? Can it stand behind its words? Can it change when shown a fact? If the answer is no, we are listening to an echo. Beautiful, yes, but still an echo. Another lesson from an old tale is about the silver tongue often winning the crowd, even if it's against the quiet expert. Um, Dangerous in speech itself, but speak unmoved from truth. It's called the crowd's trap. Today, the silver tongue is statistical. Headlines tuned for clicks, ads tuned for fear, feeds tuned for heat. Persuasion is a tool. It can clarify or it can cloud. So ask for every message. What is this trying to make me feel? Who benefits if I believe? What evidence could change my mind? The small habit turns the crowd into a citizen. So now let's take a look at three modern mirrors. Deep fakes could be the new shadows. Images and voices can now be faked with startling realism with the help of artificial intelligence. The fix is part tech and part practice. We have verification tools, and a pause between seeing and sharing is also required. Ask, could this be staged? Often, that question saves us. Now, the second mirror could be the chatbots, which is relatable to the cloud performance we discussed. Wonderful assistants, tireless tutors, creative partners, and also confident mimics. Use them as scouts, not judges. Let them draft, you decide. Treat their answers as proposals, not truth. Then comes generative art or third mirror, which could represent painters of the digital cave. These systems remix our entire visual past. They can spark ideas and widen access to art. They can also flood the room with pretty surfaces. Enjoy the surface, then look for the story underneath. Ask, what reality is this pointing me toward? Just like the tale of the bed. The original bed comes first, and then the carpenter's bed, and then the image of the bed, and then the generative art of the bed. So you always have to strive towards finding what reality is. And now, let's take a simple ladder back to light. Here's a practical way to climb from shadow to substance. First comes data. What exactly did I see or hear? Maybe it's a clip, a code, a number. And then the next step of the ladder is the context. Where did it come from? Who posted it? And what was cut? And then we take the next step, which is meaning. What claim is being made? What is the alternative view? And then we take the next step, which is understanding. What caused this? What incentives are at work? And finally, step is wisdom. Given all of that, what's the right thing to do? Most feeds keep us churning in steps 1 to 2, which is just data and context. But our work is to keep climbing. If we want minds that stay free in a bright cave, we can practice 5 gentle rules. Name the frame. Say out loud the angle a post is pushing. Seek the first source. Whenever possible, go from clip to full speed, subcode to page. Prefer slow facts to fast feelings. Feelings matter, yes, but facts steal them. Use tools as tools. Draft with machines, but decide with humans. Make and mend. Create something real. Write, code, cook, hell. So your day isn't only reactions to shadows. Freedom is not silence. Freedom is attention chosen. The cave story ends with someone walking out, eyes aching, then slowly seeing real things and finally bringing that light back to those still stuck inside. That's the brave part. Not escape, but return. So, when the room grows dark and the feed grows loud, remember, images can guide, but they're not the thing. Voices can move, but movement is not meaning. Persuasion can shine, but truth is the lamp behind it. Step back, turn your head, ask the older questions, the deeper questions. Then re enter the room and be the person who adds light by checking, by listening, by making, by telling stories that point beyond the screen. The limits of my language are the limits of my world, said the philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein. Let's expand both by choosing words that clarify and pictures that point to life and tools that serve the good. Thanks for sitting in this quiet corner with me. If this helped you turn even a few degrees, maybe share it with someone who is still staring at the wall in a cave. Until next time, look up, step out, bring back the light. Bye.